What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of the Homeys Real Estate Podcast. This is your host, Anthony. Unfortunately, Angel isn't with us today, so I'm going solo dolo. And again, it's Anthony, the realtor, so I'm going to use my realtor perspective to address this podcast. And I got a really good one. We're going to go over keeping current matters. If you're a homeowner, if you're a realtor, if you're looking to purchase a home, if you're an investor, or just want to get a better idea of the real estate market, I really recommend following them. They're a real estate organization that posts a lot of summaries and synopsis of data from different real estate sources, so it's easier to digest, and they put it in charts and so forth. So there's 6 articles that I want to go over that are really important. So let's go ahead. Oh, and if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on our website, I recommend going onto our YouTube channel or on one of our forms of social media so you can see these charts for yourself as well. I think it's a little bit easier to understand when you have a visual as well as an audio attached to it. So with that said, I want to go over the first article. The difference in net worth between homeowners and renters is widening. Yep, you heard that right. So as of 2019, the average household net worth of a homeowner is $254,900. Now, the average net worth of a renter is $6,270. So that's a difference of about $249,000. And again, this is according to the Survey of Consumer Finances, which every 3 years the Federal Reserve releases, right? And as we can see in this chart here, in 2010, that difference between homeowner and renter was about $198,000. 3 years later, $209,000. 3 years later, $241,000, and now 3 years later, $249,000. So it's increasing every single year, and the biggest reason is because home ownership and the equity that is associated with it. Since essentially 2011, 2012, we've been in an appraising market. Home values have been going up in Los Angeles County. I can tell you that it's been about 6, 7, sometimes 8% a year from 2012 onwards. It's different for different regions, right? And this rent to home ownership difference, it's going to be different for different states as well. So in California, because the home prices are so much more, I can tell you that the difference between a renter and a homeowner is going to be a much bigger difference. We're probably talking somewhere between $400,000 to $500,000, right? Just because prices are about 2-3 times more than a majority of other states. So this is a great reason why we should all strive to purchase a home if you have the means and can make the payment affordably, because there is a lot of benefits to owning a home, and we can see that by the average net worth of a homeowner in comparison to a renter. Now, another article that I want to go over is why is 2021 still a great year to sell your home? And Fannie Mae released a home purchase sentiment index, which reveals a number of respondents who say it's a good time to sell as opposed to what it was before. And 75% of consumers say that as of July 2021, it's still a good time to sell. In July 2020, only 45 respondents said it was a good time to sell. And then last year, 2 years ago, July 2019, prior to the pandemic, 67% said it was a good time to sell. Now, why is seller sentiment up over the years? Well, the biggest reason are the market conditions, specifically low housing supply and high buyer demand, right? It's just simple supply and demand. So housing supply since 2014 has been, we can see it where there's an influx, and then from about 2015 to 2018, we can see that there was a deficiency in housing, and then for a while in 2019 there was an influx of housing, and then basically from the onset of the pandemic onwards, there is a deficiency in housing. Now, if you zoom into this chart here, you'll notice that the last couple months, we're starting to make our way slowly towards a balanced market. So yes, it's still a good time to sell, but the good time to sell is slowly starting to trend more towards a balanced or buyer's market. So if you are looking to sell and get multiple offers on your home, according to this article and this consumer index, then it would make sense to do it sooner than later before we hit into a balanced market and there's more options for buyers. And as we all know, it's all about supply and demand. If there's more options, there's going to be less offers on your home, and there's less opportunity for you to create a bidding war or less opportunity to counter back with a higher price. Now, another article that I want to go over is what buyers and sellers need to know about the appraisal gap. Now, this is somewhat of a complicated article, so I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. So, when you have multiple offers on a home, chances are you're going to get an offer that is over asking price, right? Just simple economy 101, right? Supply and demand. So when you get an offer that's over what the home is listed for, there is a probability that the home will not appraise for the value. So let me break it down like this. Let's just say you have a home that's listed for $500,000 and you have 10 offers for the home, and 5 of the 10 offers are over asking price, and the highest offer comes in at $550,000 and you accept that offer. You know, as the listing agent or as the homeowner, that hey, my property is worth, around $500, at most $525,000, right? So if someone's going to put in an offer for $550, there is a chance that it's not going to appraise for that $550, right? Now, whenever you put an offer on a property and you're looking to finance it, the bank isn't going to take the agreed purchase price as the value of the home. So they aren't going to say, hey, you offered $550, we're going to lend you out for a loan amount of $550. Nope. They're going to lend you out for whatever the property is appraised for. So if it appraises for $525, like you think it could appraise for, then at that point there is a difference between $525, what it appraised for, and the bank values the property, and $550, which is your offer, which is your purchase price, right? So that $25K difference is called an appraisal gap. Now, the number of appraisal gaps have been increasing month over month since last May. So last May, we're looking at about 7%, and they slowly started increasing till now, as of this May, according to CoreLogic, to 20%. So 1 in every 5 homes are selling short of appraisal. Now, what does that mean if it sells short of appraisal? That means that $25K difference, the buyer has to pay out of pocket to front that difference because the bank's not going to finance them. So that's $25,000 additional they need to pay. Now, there's workarounds so you don't have to pay this. One of the workarounds is leaving your appraisal contingency on, basically stating, hey, I'm only going to pay for what the property appraises for. And at that point, if we can't come to an agreement with the homeowners or the sellers, then we'll just cancel escrow. Another workaround is stating how much you are willing to pay short of appraisal. So if you state, hey, I believe the property, or you say, hey, I'm going to put an offer for $550 and I'm willing to pay up to $10,000 short of appraisal, and in that example the property appraises for $525, you stated in your agreement, hey, I'm willing to pay $525 plus additional $10,000 to cover that appraisal gap, right? So I'm willing to pay $535. If the seller or homeowner agrees to this, then they're pretty much like, okay, yes, if it appraises for $525 and we're gonna end up getting $535, we're willing to take that, right? Because you're more than likely not going to accept an offer paying short of appraisal if the gap is too big, because you're already getting what the property is appraising for plus a change of sum, right? Or plus a lump sum as well, right? So you're going to get the 525 plus the 10. So these are the two ways, right? Number one is keeping the appraisal contingency on, or number two, stating how much you are willing to pay short of appraisal. In competitive markets like we have right now, it's advantageous to remove the appraisal contingency or state that you're willing to pay short of appraisal to make your offer stand out. But yes, right now, 1 in every 5 offers, there is an appraisal gap. So just beware of that, buyers. Next article that I want to go over is reasons you should consider selling this fall. So number one reason you should consider selling this fall is that your house will sell quickly. So according to the Realtors Confidence Index released by the National Association of Realtors, homes continue to sell quickly. On average, they're selling about 17 days, which is super quick. In Los Angeles County, that is now about 10 days. In Orange County, that is 7 days. So it's even faster in Southern California, right? So there's still really strong demand, and buyers are willing to compete for your house. The same survey shows that sellers are seeing an average of 4.5 offers on a home. Now that is a lot more. Last year we're talking about 2.9 months, and in the previous Julys we're talking about 2.2 months. So you're getting more than double what you had just a couple years ago on average. Number 3 reason is that when supply is low, your house is in the spotlight. And I know I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but right now, inventory months of inventory of homes for sale is really low. Right now, we're talking 2.6 months, or as of July, 2.6 months nationally. So what that means is if there was no more homes listed in the United States, it would take 2.6 months for the current homes on the market to be sold. In a balanced market, we're talking about 5 to 6 months. So the good thing is that for buyers, it's increasing. In December and January, we're at the lowest we've ever seen nationally, 1.9 months. So it's been slowly trending up to 2.0, 2.1, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. So it's slowly trending up. But if you can see in this chart and you look at the history of inventory month supply since January 2019, we were typically at around 4 months. So we're still in quite a deficiency of homes. We're talking there's got to be a couple million homes that the market needs in order to balance the current demand that we have right now. Right? Now, if you're thinking of moving up, now may be the time. If you're a current homeowner and you're looking to upgrade into a bigger home, let's just say because you need an office space and you're working from home or whatever it would be, you now should have a decent amount of equity that you can use to put down on your next property and have a very comparable mortgage payment. So it might be advantageous to take advantage of this now as opposed to the future, especially considering that interest rates are still historically low. Because if you want to purchase in a year or 2 years from now, we cannot guarantee that interest rates are going to be 3% or less like they are right now. So it's advantageous to take advantages of this period sooner than later, because we are projecting that interest rates are going to increase. So all in all, your home is going to sell quick. Buyers are going to compete for your home. We're talking about 4.5 offers per home on average, even more in Southern California. Inventory month supply is still historically low, although it is trending back up, so the sooner the better. And then lastly, it's a good time because you should have a decent amount of equity that you can put towards a home, and we have extremely low interest rates, so it should make your payment comparable to what it is now. Now, another article that I want to go over from Keeping Current Matters is understand your options to avoid foreclosure. So here's a chart showing the percentage of mortgages in forbearance is decreasing. So last May, we were talking about 8.47% of all mortgages were in forbearance. That's a lot, right? But it almost looks like raising the bar, but in reverse. So like every single month since then, it's been decreasing. And now, about a year and 2 months later, as of August, we have 3.26% of all mortgages in forbearance, right? And it's going to continue to decrease. There isn't any signs of it increasing or plateauing anytime soon. So this is great news for homeowners, for the real estate market in general, because this just shows that there isn't any chance of a large-scale foreclosure crisis like we've seen in the past, right? That everyone was making videos about, was telling you to hold on and don't purchase a home yet because there's going to be a foreclosure crisis and prices are going to decrease 50% like they did in 2008. No, chances of that happening are virtually none, according to this chart here and according to these experts. Now, the good news is that if you are if you are going through the foreclosure process and you're hitting that 18 months of forbearance or however long you're in, and you legitimately need to find a way out of it, then there are a couple things you can do. Number one is reinstatement. Number two is a loan modification. Number three is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. And then number four is a short sale. For most people, you're probably going to be looking at some sort of loan modification so that you don't have to sell your property. Or if you do have to sell your property, it's going to be a short sale. As I mentioned before, because in the last couple of years, especially in the last year and a half since the pandemic first started, because homeowners have so much equity, you're going to be able to sell your home and still come away and walk away with something more than likely, because prices have appreciated so much in that time span that you're going to be able to cover your debts, the real estate fees, and so forth, right? So this is a great thing for homeowners, and which is why it's always a good idea to be a homeowner, because you have options for you, especially in appreciating markets. Now, another article, according to CoreLogic, shows that the average homeowner gained $33,400 in equity over the last 12 months. And the average equity on mortgaged homes is now $216,000. So we're looking at this chart here, and it shows equity gains over the past 12 years for every state, all 50 states, right? And the highest state, surprisingly, is Idaho with $71K over the last year, which is surprising because home prices there aren't as much as New York or California. California is second, so the average homeowner gained $70,000 in equity, right? Followed by Seattle, $66,000, and then the remainder of the states. So it looks like a lot of the states towards the West Coast or towards the Western United States have appreciated more than the properties in the Midwest or the East Coast. So again, $70,000 is a lot of equity to gain in 1 year. For a lot of, that's more than a majority of people's salary inside California. So, which is why it's always a good idea to own property, just because not only are you paying down principal, but you're also earning appreciation, which is helping you get to this equity mark. So yeah, I mean, that's it right there, right? This is a good breakdown of what's happening in the United States nationally when it comes to real estate, and why it makes sense to purchase a home. Like, I know a lot of people have waited, right? Just because they feel like maybe it might be a better time to purchase later than it is now, or maybe they feel like they aren't qualified yet, or maybe they don't think they can afford it. Like, what we recommend is sitting down with a realtor and a lender and seeing how much you can qualify for, seeing what's a affordable monthly payment for you, because there are some serious benefits to home ownership. And I mean, the article that differentiates the net worth between a homeowner and renter is a great article that indicates that, right? The difference between the homeowner and renter is $249,000, right? The average equity gain for a California homeowner in the last year is $70,000. Like, imagine being able to add that to your net worth in just 1 year, and it's probably going to continue to increase moving forward as home prices increase in value, and so forth. So, homies, I hope this gives you a good idea of what's happening. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I recommend watching this video on YouTube, on our social media, commenting, and then if you ever have any video suggestions, just reach out to us and let us know. And as always, this is Anthony. I want to wish you all the best, homies. Take care. Stay safe. Hey, homies, it's Anthony. This podcast contains my opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as a basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.